Well, welcome. Let's go ahead and begin. So the very first thing that we're going to do is create an R Markdown file. We're going to create an R Markdown file. And so we're going to do most of our work within R Markdown files because they're easy to use and create really cool things. So go ahead and press OK. As you can see in the video, I believe I told you all to always delete from line 7 all the way down. Just delete that. Now I'm going to create a new R chunk by pressing this green button, Control Alt I, or if you're using Mac, it might be a different button. But I'm creating an R chunk like this. And so what I want to do is I have this data set called the human resource data set, and it's a data frame that you'll do a little bit more analysis on your homework within your homework. But let's get the data within R. So I'm gonna do a little bit of advancement. So you click on Session. You can slow it down if you need to. Click on Set Working Directory, and then choose Directory. So ideally, you have within your desktop a folder called Data Science 1. And all you have to do is just click that folder. And you don't have to do anything else. Just click that folder and press Open. When you press Open, you should see within your console SETWD, Set Working Directory. Okay, that means that you're setting the folder where you're going to do most of your analysis. So what I typically do is just copy this information and just place it within my R chunk. Okay, so if you did what I told you to do in terms of the email, or in terms of the message that I sent to you, you should have the document, at least the Excel sheet, the CSV within this folder already. So if you do read.csv, this is allowing me to read the CSV into R. And then you press tab, put your cursor into the quotations and press tab. That should show up, HR underscore data frame. And what we're going to do is we're going to name this. We're going to name this HR underscore DF. I typically use DF because it's going to be a data frame, right? When we put it into R, and it's ideal to be consistent. Okay, it's ideal to be consistent. So I always use this underscore data frame. Okay, so I'm going to run this chunk, and now you can see that my data frame is here. So now we're going to do some analysis. So if you click here within the environment, so make sure you have this tab open. You can move things around, move the panes around so that you can get to this tab if it's not already open. But click on environment, go to the environment, click on HR underscore DF, and here we have our data frame. If that doesn't work, you can just press view HR underscore DF. That would work. So what you have here is our data. We have our data here, okay? And so there's a couple of things to note. So I call this my data frame. Fine, fantastic. Some people may say data set, that's fine, but I like to use data frame. So our rows here, these are our rows, these represent our observations. And here our columns represent our variables. These first two columns, it's a special case. I wouldn't necessarily call them variables. They're more so identifiers in that each and every individual, each and every observation has a unique identifier. That shouldn't be too crazy. And then from there, I would say that these are the rest are variables. The rest are variables. These are all variables. A lot of variables. As you can notice here, there's 311 observations and 37 variables. 37 variables, or maybe 35, but we'll say 37 columns, but 35 variables of interest. And from there, it's ideal for us to be able to classify variables as either categorical binary, or quantitative. I would argue that most of us should already know what these are, but a quick way to verify whether a variable is, let's say this is married ID. I would argue this is probably determines if someone's married or not, is to press this arrow button. Okay, so that tells me that the smallest number is 0. Press the arrow button again. The largest number is 1. So it's either 1 or 0, indicating this is a categorical binary variable. Yes, it's 0 or 1. It's a number, but categorical binary is either on or off. Yes or no, 1 or 0. All right. Let's say ID. Same thing here. Press it again. Status ID. See, it's a little different. So it's going to from 4, 3, 2, 1. So that's telling me this is a categorical variable. All right. We're not going to say that's quantitative unless we can add, subtract, multiply, divide to it. So we're going to perform some type of arithmetic operations to it. Let's see if we can find a quantitative variable in this data set. I would argue zip code is not quantitative. We can change. We won't learn it in these 2 weeks, but we can change date of birth potentially to age, which would therefore make it quantitative. Oh wow. Well, this data frame is going to be interesting. Manager ID. Oh, yes. Engagement survey. So someone's performance on the survey would be quantitative. I thought there was salary. I thought I saw salary earlier. Salary right there. Yes, yes, yes. That's going to be a quantitative variable. Okay. So from there, what we can now do is I just want to take a little bit of a moment of just something different. Within the console, I'm actually going to do the best practices. I'm going to create a new R chunk. Okay. How I did that was Control Alt I, or you can just press this button here and create a new R chunk, right? If you want to. And so what I want to do is extract a variable. So if I do HR_df $, okay, if I want to extract a variable, let's say salary, if I run this, this is extracting the variable, okay? And if I wanted to save this information as salary outside of the data frame, I can do that by running this, and therefore I have the salary within this vector. Okay, so I said a definition, but the definition of what we just did is extracting a vector from a data frame. That's going to be important, so I'm just noting that here for now. Last but not least is this idea of a explanatory variable and a response. So let's just say as the human resource director, you're interested in salary. Okay, that's going to be our response variable. That's going to be the variable of interest, right? We're interested in something. Let's say it's going to be our response variable. All right, and let's say we have, let's say marital status, whether it's widowed. This is going to be a categorical variable here. Yeah, so this is going to be a categorical variable here, and let's see if marital description can explain the variability or explain what's going on in terms of salary. Okay, so in that particular scenario, our marital description would be our explanatory variable, and our salary would be our response variable. Okay, so we believe that. Okay, that's our thought. All right, so we can even use something like position ID. Position ID. I want to say position ID. Maybe someone's position, right? Someone's position. Right, actually, position IDs represents position. That's fine. Position could be our explanatory variable, and our response variable could be can be salary. All right, so you can play around with this idea, and let's see what happens next. Have a great day.